Hey guys, Fernando Ramirez here with a special guest, Gilbert Manzano for the Orange County Register. Look at that smile. Look at that hair. Look at that McGregor poster in the background. It's Gilbert. You know that he's always ready. He always has your guys' Charger stuff. We both cover the team. We sit next to each other at Chargers Media, so we always have a fun time there. Gilbert, how are you doing?
Doing well. I just noticed we both have slick hair, slick back. We
Yeah,
got the style. That means we're hanging around with each other too much, too long. So I'm kind of glad we have this bye week, Fernando. You're gonna be the last face I see before I check out with the Chargers and I go into my bye week. So no other way to do it.
oh, you're gonna disappoint the fans knowing that you're gonna go away for a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm definitely ready to check out too. I remember I asked Gil, I'm like, do you want to do this today? We can do it tomorrow. No, 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 let's do it today.
Right
I'm like, all
now,
right, let's
get it
do
over
it.
with.
He's
Hey,
ready to go.
NFL said we're gonna have a bye week, week 6, not week 10. We got to follow the rules, Fernando.
Exactly. There you go. So thank you to everybody for reaching out to us on Twitter. Let's start it off with Bubba Duke 84, who who asked, and you know what I think they're always commenting on here, so I
I think I know
appreciate
who
you
that
guys.
is. He has like a picture of a dog.
Of a dog, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
So you're already gonna like him off of that.
we know our Chargers Twitter, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do. He asked, how many games has George Stewart's special teams unit cost the Bolts over the last 3 seasons? And why does it seem like they are getting worse and not better? Gilbert, I'll let you take that one.
I don't know the stat on how many games they've lost. It might be kind of hard to track on that one.
I remember
But
the last game winner that he hit was the one against the Steelers where he got the first two. He got the first one blocked. They were offsides. He got the second one. He missed the second one, and I think that was one of your first few games on the beat where they went to against the Steelers in 2018.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, he needed 3 times for that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, he needed three times to make it. So I remember the last game winner he actually hit.
Was that the last one? It feels like there's been more.
No, last year he didn't hit. I mean, they were 5-11.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the last time he hit like a game winner.
That's when he got the name Money Badger.
Honey
People
Badger.
were taking the name away from him because he missed
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
But I did ask Anthony Lynn, like, what's going on with Michael Badger because he's been a little off. He was money the last 2 years, that 2018 season, and even last year. I know he got hurt with the groin injury. That kind of sucked. But when he came back, he was fine. Same old Money Badger. But he said he's healthy. He's fine. He's been kicking great in practice. He didn't really seem to have a reason why. Maybe I don't know what it is with Michael Badger. Sometimes you just have bad games, and that's what it is. Like we saw Gakowski, week one, missed a bunch of field goals, and now he's back to being great. But to answer the question about special teams and Coach George Stewart's crew there, I know there's been a lot of question marks there. With the some flags here and there, some hiccups here and there. But what Coach Stu deserves credit for is to helping out Michael Badgley and finding guys like Tai Long and Cole Maza and getting them ready. So that aspect of the kicking thing, besides Monday night, it's been great. Well, the thing they're kind of lacking is the punt return touchdowns and the kick return touchdowns.
The
Uh,
flash.
yeah, and playmaking stuff. I know they get some block punts here and there, or some block kicks like the PATs. Jerry Taylor had a couple, but overall hasn't been too bad with Coach too. I know he takes a lot of heat sometimes from the Chargers Twitter, but you do want to see more Desmond King doing some punt returns, or KJ Hill, or Tyron Johnson, or Joe Reed. You haven't seen too much of that yet.
Yeah, and he's been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks, and that's been very interesting. Maybe it's because they wanted Tyron Johnson to play on offense, and maybe they feel like Joe Reed isn't ready. I was recently asked about that, and I was like, I think KJ Hill and Joe Reed are two guys that would have benefited from preseason games.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Especially a guy like KJ Hill kind of being thrown into the fire. I know he had a bad, or I guess it wasn't the perfect throw from Justin Herbert in that crucial drop he had. He put his hand on it. He maybe could have caught it. Maybe it was a little late. But it feels like he's had too many drops to start his career, and he was so sure-handed at Ohio State.
He rarely had any drops.
Yeah, he was clutch with that. So that's kind of surprising me, and he was great in training camp.
Yeah.
The one that I'm maybe not too shocked is Joe Reed. I know he was the one that people really wanted him to do something, but I saw in training camp he was kind of struggling to find his niche to get some chemistry going. The routes, it wasn't really there, and it wasn't until Anthony Lynn put him as a running back when you kind of say, okay, here's some flashes here. He's that gadget guy, trick plays. We haven't seen much of it. I know he got a couple, pitches or reverses, to start the year. But as a wide receiver, Joe Reed hasn't, found it here or the rhythm or whatever they want to see. Maybe it's the blocking. Remember where
Yeah,
Phil McGahan? Okay, did I get
McGay,
it right? Okay,
McGagan.
McGahan, Phil McGahan. He wants blocking, man. That's what it is. I don't know. What do you think, Fernando?
No, yeah, I mean, and we saw it. You saw it in Hard Knocks. Like he said, if you do not block for me, you're not going to see the field. So I mean, maybe it is that. I mean, you saw, you know what? And I give McGagan a lot of credit because Keenan has turned into one of the best blocking receivers. Mike Williams got really into it on Monday. I was noticing him. Coach wasn't there on Monday, taking care of family business.
Yeah.
Obviously, we hope that everything's good with him, with his family. Prayers up to them. But honestly, yeah, no, maybe it's that. Maybe, like you said, he hasn't found his niche yet. Maybe he needs a little bit more time. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like if he needs more time, okay, let him have the time. He's on the roster. Let him have his time. Let him develop. But yeah, no, they look like they like Tyron Johnson a little bit more for his help on offense. Tyron is good. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a
I like
good.
I like him in training camp. I thought
Yeah,
we
yeah,
should.
yeah.
I kept
He
asking
had
him, who's getting
he
paid?
had yeah, he had some good plays. So honestly, I think they should be happy with what they have so far with him. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what transpires. Next question, Scott Green asks, injury updates, please. Who will be back and when? Well, let me look into my crystal ball. No,
Fernando, remember as Coach Lynn says?
yeah,
Time.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't like to put a timetable on this stuff. I'll start this one off a little bit. I expect, not Coach Lynn, not anybody else. I expect that Trey Turner and Brian Bulaga will be back after the bye week. I think it seems like, because at this point Lynn could have put them on the IR. He didn't.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're this close into playing. It's just been little things here and there. So I think that those two might be back. From what we've seen, I think Melvin Ingram is a candidate to be back pretty soon. Him and Justin Jones might be coming off soon. I think Melvin would be the better case of coming back because shoulder injury is always very tricky for a guy like Justin Jones. And some of these other guys are just Joey Bosa said that this is going to help them out. And again, Gil, it's a weird 2020 is weird just because we went from, okay, the bye week is week 10, like you said, and now it's week 6. Like we found out when, Sunday or Monday? Sunday. And it's like everything gets thrown out. I mean, I was already starting to plan a little mini getaway, and then I'm like, oh wow, okay, no mini getaway, I guess. So it's just gonna be chilling at home. So yeah, no. So I think the bye week kind of came at the right time just because they can nurse those injuries and be good to go.
Yeah, the one that I go back to is Melvin Ingram because remember that week he was practicing, I think, fully with the knee
Yeah,
injury, and then out of nowhere something happened, and
that
obviously,
Friday.
yeah, they won't tell us what happened.
The Fridays are always the
Yeah,
weirdest
they
day.
do something, and then remember,
Yeah,
last week where Denzel Perriman something hurt something, but he's off the
yeah.
injury
The
report. It was
wrist, the
confusing.
wrist.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was confusing. There's always something that comes up on Fridays or Saturday with this team.
yeah.
But that's not a good sign where maybe he re-injured or something happened in practice. Maybe he was going too hard. I'm kind of concerned about Melvin Ingram, but we have seen him out there hanging around. And he looks fine. He doesn't look like he's limping. I think he was chatting with you a little bit.
Yeah.
So seems okay. But you're right. I think Trey Turner and Brian Black are probably close. But I was gonna say you got to have those guys in there to protect Justin Herbert. That was a real problem. I know
Mm.
against Tampa Bay, they did a good job with the max protection and the 3 tight ends, but that did not really work or they didn't do too much. But you got to have those two guys, and obviously guys like Austin Eckler won't come back anytime soon. Even though I just saw him, doing like a video of him on a
I
bike.
gave you a
So
shout out a little while ago, bro. I was on Chargers Brawl and they were asking me, and I'm like, Gilbert's always good at that Instagram, finding Instagram. They're like, oh, you don't like going on Instagram? I'm like, I like check around a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I check out. I'm like, Gilbert's the man for that kind of stuff, and they just
you're verified on Instagram. You're verified on everywhere. So I don't know what you're doing. I'm trying to get that
get out,
badge. So
get out of here with that.
I'm out
And you know
there.
what? Chargers or Twitter verification needs to verify my boy over here because You
Tell
put in
them.
that work. So there's some other bozos that I see with blue check marks, and I'm like,
Hey,
so
I don't want to go on that rant there, but Edgar does look to be okay.
yeah,
Who else? Man, I was actually kind of just talking with Daniel Popper about how many guys were sidelined or playing with injuries against the Saints. We got up
Chenna
to
Nwosu,
14
uh,
guys or starters,
yeah,
and we got kind of forgot one. I was like, oh, Justin Jones is one of them. But yeah, you mentioned Nowusu, Casey Hayward, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa playing banged up. 7 guys on IR. Trey Turner, Babulaga being inactive. You can even throw in Tyrod Taylor, who's now the backup, who was a
yeah.
starter, but he's still kind of crucial for the backup. He wasn't there either. You could throw him
Cam
in there.
Kevy went out during the game yesterday. Storm
I
Norton was
forgot about that one.
the left tackle at one point.
Did he come back in the
I don't
game?
remember him coming back.
I
Because I
know Storm
remember
Norton.
I remember in one of those they showed a camera angle of him getting pressured in overtime, and I remember I saw 74 on the field. I might be wrong, but
Huh.
I think I remember seeing 74 on the
Then it,
field.
then it could be more than 14. And honestly, that's why I needed to talk to Popper because I lost track and he was trying to
Yeah.
help me out. And I think we lost. So I could have talked to you. You should have told me.
I think three minds would have been able to work for that.
That tells you how it's going with the injuries, and it's really bad. But like you mentioned, the bye week comes at the right time. I don't think we ever got around to asking Coach Lynn, did they request this? It didn't
Yeah.
seem like he wanted to talk about it. He just said, we'll take it. And
Yeah.
it is, and Joey Bosa needs it the most with the 3 injuries. He's gonna have his red wine with his brother Nick and his dad in town. And hopefully he's ready for next week.
Yeah. Um Curtis Egan asked, when will the hurting end?
Oh, hey Fernando, you've been watching this team forever. You're in San Diego. You're a native. You grew up, and I feel like this question's for you.
I wish I could help. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, I wish I could help you out with that, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they can stop it. I mean, honestly, have faith in. I think fans are starting to kind of throw their faith towards Justin Herbert. I think they're really excited about Justin, and I think they're very excited about the possibility of the future with Justin Herbert. I don't know what you think, Gil.
Yeah, for me, I feel like every time I talk to you in the media center, there's things that I want to see Justin Herbert improve on. I think the Buccaneers, like I told you, I want to see more downfield shots. He did it. Then I told you I want to see no turnovers. He did it against the Saints. But I wanted to see a closer mentality. You're getting
Yeah,
these big leads, but now close it. And I thought he kind of had it when he found Mike Williams for 64 yards. That was, a good thing to see for Justin Herbert. But then it didn't go their way, but he's finding that every week, and it's exciting for Chargers fans. And I wrote last week that I kind of felt like I was giving him too much hype, but I just whatever I saw, it just felt different. It didn't feel like Baker Mayfield, uh, you know Sam Darnold, those guys, or guys who kind of just flame out and they do well and they start and then it's whatever. Even guys like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, they were at the top and it was like, okay, now they're kind of whatever guys. This I wrote, it feels like Patrick Mahomes. It feels like Russell
yeah.
Wilson. It kind of feels like Lamar Jackson. Uh, who knows? Aaron Rodgers, maybe that to that level one day. And I just felt like the ceiling is much higher for Justin Herbert. It's not Cam Newton. It's not Josh Allen. And I feel like maybe I was going a little overboard. And then I saw Monday Night Football. I'm like, okay, Charger fans, they should be very excited. But now, if Justin Herbert could find that closer mentality and win these close games, then that's when the hurt will stop.
No, and you're completely right. I mean, do you remember when? I mean, and this feels like a long time ago, but when we were standing in training camp, we were like,
Yeah,
okay, we've seen a couple of things, and you're like, maybe, I don't know. And then he just gets thrown into the fire, and you're like, oh my God, this is not the kid that we saw during training camp. And I've been very impressed with him. And Gil, I'm like you, like honestly, that's why I think we get along so well. We kind of think alike in that sense. I was thinking also like, oh my God, like, am I really like when I write? Well, sometimes when I'm writing, I'm like, am I like hyping him up too much?
yeah,
And I'm like, no, like this kid is just he has something different. And the thing is that he's different. He's not that quarterback that's like rah, like excited and throwing like getting all fired up and stuff. I think we saw that on ESPN on Monday night where his face didn't change the whole time. That I think that at one point they had the camera on him, his face was not changing. And I think that's good, Gil. And I think it's good because if you listen to him today and somebody asked him, I can't remember who asked him about Pep Hamilton. I think it was our good friend Dennis. Dennis asked him about Pep Hamilton, and he says Pep tells me to not think about the last play, think about the plays moving forward. And I think Gil that this kid could throw a pick. He could throw a pick and forget about it and just be like, oh my God, okay, I'm seeing X, Y, and Z. Whereas guys like Philip Rivers, some other quarterbacks in the league, I mean, we've seen Philip. He'll remember that pick and he might like try and squeeze it in again and throws another interception. Where Justin doesn't think like that. Justin thinks, what's the best possible way to throw the ball down the field and do it not in a safe way, but like not turn the ball over or cost my team, which I've been very impressed with. And he limited the turnovers. He almost threw an interception to Malcolm Jenkins. He dropped it. That was his one bad throw for the game. But other than that, I was very impressed with him overall. And I've been very impressed with him this whole time. I'm like, oh my God, like I don't remember this kid. Like he's not the kid that we saw in training camp. So kudos to him. Let's throw it now to two questions in a row asking oh no, actually no, it's just one. What do you think about the fan base saying tank for Penny's Sewell Murray season? I'm sure he's referencing Kenneth Murray on that. What do you think, Gil, about tanking for Penny? He's actually Justin Herbert's, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He's Justin Herbert's old left tackle.
Yeah, from
So
Oregon.
I don't know. Yeah, from Oregon, and I think he's not playing this season. He decided to work out
No.
and he's not gonna. I think he ended up opting out of the season. So I think he said he was just gonna work out and get ready for the NFL draft. I personally, I'm not about tanking. I don't like tanking. I
Yeah.
think tanking sends the wrong message, especially with questions around the team. I don't think tanking's a good thing. So Gilbert, I don't know what you think on that.
Yeah, I feel like tanking in football is not really the best thing, and not just because of karma stuff. But look at the
Yeah,
Chargers. That they, I guess 5-11 is not great, but they were number 6. They got the third quarterback in the draft, and they might have the best one. So sometimes it's all about fit, need,
exactly.
coaching, and who's the right guy for you. So I don't know if you want to aim at being number one, because look at and we're gonna keep it to tackles. There was like 4 tackles taken in the top 20 last year, and I think the guy like Tristan Wirfs from the Buccaneers, he was number 13. He's probably the best from the bunch.
Yeah.
Uh, Wills from the Browns, I think it was maybe a pick ahead of him. The guy who went fifth to the Giants, I'm forgetting his name, Thomas. He's not, I don't want to
I
label
just
him.
remember the guy from the Jets. The guy
Oh,
he's
and him, he's
humongous.
Becton is doing
Mecton, yeah.
Becton. So there's sometimes there's talent there. I think there's a guy for this rookie class coming up from North Dakota State who probably knows Easton Stick, who's
Oh,
also highly
yeah.
regarded. So there's gonna be options there at left tackle. I wouldn't say aim to be number one. You wanna have a winning culture for Justin Herbert. You want him to feel like going into momentum for next year, not chasing that first. Imagine he goes into next year chasing, he's still not having his first win. He's gonna chase it. Like get that out the way, build up some wins. I know I'm too young to remember Peyton Manning's first year, but I know he went through a bunch of bumps and bruises in 1999. He lost a lot of games and threw some interceptions, but you could tell the talent was there. For Herbert, it feels like it could be a season like that. A lot
Yeah.
of losing, but a lot of talent. But get some wins now. Get it out
But
the way, build momentum.
you know what, Gil? The most important part about him is he's learning. That's the thing too, is that okay, say that you're gonna lose. Okay. But as long as you're learning, and I think this kid's learning, I think he's kind of learned some of the things you already now he just needs to learn how to win. And I think he's kind of developed his relationship with his receivers. He's developed stuff with some of those players. Now it's just about learning how to win. And I feel like Justin is one of those kids that'll learn it quick. You remember at Oregon, 4-8 the first season, and then after
Yeah,
that, he
not better.
he won three. He had 3 winning seasons in a row, I believe. So I think as soon as he gets it, he'll be fine and he'll be able to turn this around. Which talking about this, uh, Parrot, 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 Parrot. We'll keep it at that. He asks, "Do you see the team making moves before the deadline?" I do not see them doing that. The Chargers are not known for doing anything like that. Gilbert, I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, they're not really known for getting these available free agent guys or hot commodities, well-known names, and they
Yeah,
don't do that. Like look at all the injuries this team has had the last couple of years. Who have they really brought in to help? Like they never really go out and get anybody like a big name. They kind of just rely on their undrafted guys, their practice squad guys, their depth. and see it. Maybe that could be the bad thing they're doing. Who knows about these close games? But the NFL. Sometimes these guys are released for a reason. You're just not that good anymore. Guys don't last that long in the NFL. You want younger guys to help you out, and you want to groom these guys. The teams do that well. It's kind of like baseball. You want a good farm system. So I don't know. Sorry, who was the guy? Did you mention Le'Veon Bell? Was that the one?
No, no, he just asked
Oh,
if he can make
okay.
any
Somebody
move.
asked me like, are they going for
Somebody's gonna
Le'Veon
ask
Bell?
about Le'Veon, and I don't think they should go after
No.
Le'Veon. I just
Like, come
don't see
on.
it. Like
Joshua Kelly
I
just
think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna go to the Chiefs or the Patriots. They both play the Jets still. The Chargers still play the Jets, but if you go to the Patriots, you still play them twice this year. So if he scores touchdowns or he has huge runs, he can do whatever he wants towards Adam Gase. I just don't. The Chargers do need a running back, but they don't need his not his style of running back, but his product. He
not
hasn't
like
played.
Eckler, he could catch from the
No,
backfield.
yeah, but he hasn't produced as much
Yeah,
in the
that's the
last
thing.
few years. So if the Chargers, if they were going to get a running back, it'd be someone who could like actually. I'm not going to say that Le'Veon doesn't help the team, but it's just not the same.
Yeah,
Like
and
if
also keep in mind they don't go after guys who are kind of big
exactly,
talkers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So and he likes to tweet, so I'm pretty sure they don't won't like that. We already talked Donald Richter. We already talked about when we think that the O line might actually play in the same game together. Possibly could be soon.
One drive, by the way, between
One drive.
Brian Bulaga, Trey Turner have one
The
drive
opening
together.
of Kansas City, right?
Yeah, the opening drive for Justin Herbert's debut, which is kind of a crazy. It's gonna be like
Crazy.
a trivia stat in the future. Wow. Who right side?
Lewis underscore 403. When do you think the Chargers will? Let's not even get into that. Reggie Haxon. You'll like this one, Gil. So now that the kicker is no longer money, what should his new nickname be? My kid's hitting coach forgets my kid's name if he's not hitting bombs. Should we just refer to him as the kicker?
You could just call him Michael Badgley or call
Yeah,
him
there
Mike.
you go.
How
There
about
you
just
go.
call him Mike? You know?
There you go. Michael Badgley. That's all you need to that's all you need to call him. Brawler 79. Are we cursed?
Eesh. Sometimes I kind of believe it with all the ways they
I think
lose.
it's the Popper curse.
And that could be something. Remember, Fernando, you mentioned when I first arrived, it was 2018. The Chargers were 12-4. Who arrived next year? Daniel Popper, and they haven't
Yeah,
been the same. Yeah.
there you go. So I mean, who knows?
But
Shout out to
but
Popper.
Chargers, it spans back many years, so you can't blame it on him.
Yeah, I know. But shout out to Daniel Popper from the Athletic. Great guy. So honestly, it's just funny when he explained to us the Popper curse. I just think it's awesome. Let's see who else. A lot of these are Stewart questions and
Coach Stu.
okay, here we go. Tajay Gaddy. His at name is Tillery Season. If not Sewell, then who would fit nicely in the Chargers team? For fans are already looking at the
I was
draft.
gonna say, like, so many draft questions in
I
October.
know. People
Man,
are already looking.
you're playing the Jaguars, the Dolphins, the Jets, the
I
Broncos.
know.
There's still time.
You know what? And Jason Charland actually commented and said lots of left tackles available that have first round talent besides Sewell. He says that he's a generational talent, but he said Leatherwood could also fit nicely too. I think Leatherwood is the kid from Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Alabama, I think.
I see. I haven't done my research yet. I
Yeah.
haven't.
So honestly, guys, like we can't really answer those just because we don't. We haven't looked at the draft.
But we can all agree that they need a left tackle.
Oh,
Or
100%. Yeah, no, definitely. They need a left tackle. Um, Red Eyes 310 asks why Chargers always lose closed games. Why do they always blow huge leads? I think it's just
we're trying to ask it today. Execution, it just
lack of execution, but at the same time, Gil, I think that and you know what, Lynn doesn't like to make excuses, and he said it angry. He said it
calmly today.
He said it. Yeah, I think that he doesn't like to make excuses, but I just think the injuries are starting to catch up a little bit. It's starting to happen late in games. If you notice what's going on with them, it's late in games where the defense just is not picking it up. I mean, honestly, against the Saints at the end of the game, they had Emike Ebuye rushing the passer on one side and Isaac Rochelle rushing it on the other. Like,
They had Cortez Brockton out there. They had Justin
yeah,
Lemonnier.
they had a lot of guys out there that, and that's what Lynn said today, I think, and I think he said it as a positive, but I was kind of like, oh wow. He said a lot of my practice squad guys were, or not my, what did he say? Not my practice squad. A lot of my practice players are out there, and he's like, they got some reps and they got some looks. I just don't think that at the end of the game, where you're trying to win and close out the game, you want to see those guys out there, and that's no knock on them. But you want to see the Joey Bosa's, the Melvin Ingrams, the Derwin Jameses, and
Yeah,
the Casey Haywards.
I was gonna say that there's one common theme, like they're winning in 2018 and they
Yeah,
haven't won those
they
close
stayed
games since.
healthy.
Yeah,
They
and
in
Derwin James
2018.
was out there. He's the biggest playmaker you have on defense,
Exactly.
and
In
not there.
2018, Gilbert, they yeah, you weren't here yet. They had lost Hunter Henry that season. Hunter Henry
Brian
is a
Taylor.
good tight end, but they were able to make up for it because they had the awesome defense. They had Tyrell Williams, they had Keenan Allen, and they had an emerging Mike Williams. They had Melvin Gordon. They had Austin Eckler. They had so many different weapons that they were able to make up for his production. But when you could lose a guy like Derwin James, it's just hard. When you lose a guy like Casey Hayward, I don't know if you noticed, but at one point, Drew Brees started picking on Brandon Faison. And
Yeah,
Faison's been a good special teams player for the Chargers. He's been a good backup for them. But at the end of games, you don't want him covering Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, went like, and that was what I wrote on my article on Sunday or Monday. The matchup with Casey and Emmanuel Sanders was going to be clear because Emmanuel did a lot of damage when he was with the Broncos. And he just did a lot of damage again on Monday to the Chargers. I think he caught 12 passes for 120 yards, something like crazy like that.
yeah, and it seems like when it comes to these quick drives, when Tom Brady and Drew Brees operate, and they just they move quick to third downs and they get it, and a lot of people are blaming it on Gus Bradley's defense. He's not bringing enough pressure because these guys are getting on rhythm, and getting spots to get the first down. I can see that, but with Gus Bradley's system, you need guys like Derwin James. You need guys who will win their one-on-one matchups and do their jobs, and that's not what Gus Bradley does. He doesn't pressure. And he doesn't even have guys to bring in blitzes like that. Like you mentioned, the guys that are on the D line, they're backup, second stringers, second year guys, and they can't do that.
Yeah. At one point, Gil, I remember I turned to you and I was like, oh, wow. We saw Derwin James, Melvin Ingram, and Joey Bosa all line up at one point on the same side during training camp. And I thought, wow, if they were able to do that during a game, that's going to be a scary combination and guys would throw it into the ground. Fortunately, neither one of those three guys was healthy. Even Joey, I think Joey did it out of pure adrenaline, being able to go on Monday. And God bless him. He got that sack, and I was like, oh wow, like on literally like with the ankle bad, with the knee bad, and with the tricep bad. And and you know what? I like Joey's honesty because he told us like it's hard for me to kind of move with my tricep and rip and do all these other things, but he's still getting sacks, Gil. Like he's still making plays, and that's just amazing to me. I mean, I think he had like in 24 passing, I think PFF put this out there in 24 pass rushing plays that he had on Monday. I think he had 5 quarterback pressures or
Tony
something like
played
that
28
extent,
snaps too.
and a sack. Like, dude, like wow, like you're out there and you're limited and you're still there making plays and rushing the quarterback. Honestly, credit to him and just how tough him and Mike Williams. I know Mike wasn't really playing at the beginning of the game, but as soon as Keenan Allen went down, he said, "You know what? I have to do this for my team." And he started coming in, and he made a difference on this offense.
Yeah, talking to Joey Bosa, you really got the full extent of how these injuries really affect them. And with the tricep, you think, okay, he can't do the swim move, move around on the line of scrimmage, but he was saying he can't lift, he can't really go running, he can't do everything that needs to get him in shape. That's why he's getting tired at the end of games. He's not really conditioned. He's not practicing. Then you have an ankle that he said he couldn't walk on the following day, and the ankle got worse. Like, how do you run? How do you train? How do you get your body right? Then you have a knee that's bothering him. So all these things, you see him out there, and you're like, wow, how does he do it? But he like the preparation and how he can't really do too much, and the mental grind. Like it just feels like, but Joey Bosa being out there, credit to him to tough
Yeah,
it out. But when people are questioning why is he on the sidelines in the fourth quarter or why is he in a snap count, like he's not getting the full preparation. He's not
yeah.
practicing. He's not running. He's not lifting. And he told us for the bye week he can't wait to lift and run and simple things like that gets him ready.
You know what? And I remember against Tampa, people were like, "Oh my God, what's up with him against Tristan Wirfs?" Because he did well against him. But then I see Tristan Wirfs get moved over by Khalil Mack, and honestly, like that's no knock on him because anybody would get moved by Khalil Mack like that. But that just made me think Joey Bosa's not well. He's not like physically, he's not 100% healthy. Well, and he said today, I'm never going to be 100% healthy again. But he's not the Joey Bosa that we've seen in years past. And honestly, and that's what made me think, wow, he really isn't anywhere near where he wants to be. But honestly, I mean, yeah, like he said, the bye week should help him out. It should get him ready. Moving on to an ADM 4156. What are your guys' thoughts on signing Hunter Henry in the offseason? I don't see him as a difference maker yet. Is that because he is staying in and blocking for the something for the not performing well offensive line? If he stays healthy, what is a fair price? I'll let you take this one, buddy.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be in the George Kittle, Travis Kelsey range. So you got to figure out that next tier. And I think where he's at sounds about right. Is there anybody? I think maybe Zach Ertz will get paid, but I don't think well, Zach Ertz kind of fell a little bit this year, but I don't think he's still on that tier either. He's top five, but there's a big gap between Kelsey and
Yeah.
Kittle. So maybe keep him around the price now. Maybe you could, if you give him like the same annual average and for another 3 or 4 years. I think you gotta take that dude with Hunter Henry. You're making $10 million annually. You're still top five tight end. That sounds about right. Maybe you get to 11 or 12 million. And I think he's worth it because that tweet mentioned the blocking. He has been blocking a lot because he's been
Yeah.
needed. And when it comes to the passing game, he's been stepping up. He's been a security blanket for Justin Herbert. He got a touchdown on Monday night. He's a guy who could move all over the field. He could be on the outside, could be in the slot, come off as a blocker. And we saw that one nice screen throw, so he could do so many things. And I think he is a top five tight end. I know there's a big gap between the top three guys, but the thing about having a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, you could pay guys like that, and you can make an exception for Hunter Henry, especially if he stays healthy. I think that's the biggest hurdle. Stay healthy all year, play all 16 games. I think you pay the guy and you keep it where it is. $10 million a year or 12, 3 to 4 year contract.
And Tom is about rewarding his own guys. So I think they will look at Hunter Henry and think, you know what, he has been doing a lot for us. He's been staying healthy so far. And the thing is, Gil, we also have to remember, and fans have to remember also, is that Justin's still learning how to play with each guy. So I think he's kind of figured out Keenan. I think on Monday he figured out Mike a little bit more, and I feel
Yeah,
like
that
he's
was
gonna start
specific.
figuring out Hunter Henry. I remember against the Chiefs, he had that long pass where he got it a little bit behind Mike, and and the Honey Badger came up and smacked it down. So it could
Right.
have been a potential 50-yard touchdown pass. I think as the weeks go on, he's going to figure out these guys, and I feel like Hunter's going to be a bigger part of the offense. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. Give him right around that money. Tom Telesco, keep another one of your guys. So yeah, no, and Hunter's done a good job of blocking. He's really improved, and you know what? He's very proud of that aspect. He's very proud of the way he blocks and the way he's improved as a blocker. And also, I believe that he helps out in the offense a lot. And you want a tight end that can help you, like you said, be a security blanket for your young quarterback. And he's been that so far on third downs. That's usually who I see Herbert look at a lot. Is okay, where's Hunter? And he knows that Hunter's gonna get to him. Next question is from Hey, it's Tone. Serious question. What do either of you think it will take for the Chargers to overcome their struggle with finishing games? Is it something they can fix during the bye week?
All the same questions here, huh? And we keep going back to the injuries. If you get people back healthy, I think so. I know Anthony keeps getting pushed about can Gus Bradley blitz more, do bring more pressure to switch up his scheme a little bit more. But I think if some guys come back like Melvin Ingram, Justin Jones, that I think early in the year we were really bragging about this defensive line because of depth and the 8-man rotation they had. They lost that once those two guys went out. But if you bring those two guys in, maybe that could help you win some of these close games because the more you apply pressure and like we saw with Patrick Mahomes, if you could just rush four guys and still create problems, then you then you could defend more of the receivers, and it kind of usually works out for you.
Especially with Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery is kind of like, I don't want to say he's dropped off, but he's not the same as he was those first two games, and it's because they lost Justin Jones and they're asking him to do a lot more. So I think that if Justin Jones is able to come back, then he could definitely help a guy like Jerry Tillery get better. If Melvin Ingram comes back, that means that Uchenna Nwosu can do more things and move around the offensive line. Because I mean, what I'm seeing right now is guys are, well, I think they're doubling Linval, because Linval is just, I think that's another underrated guy, Gil, that not a lot of people have talked about. I think Linval's had a great season. Well, yeah, he's had a very good season, helping on the run, helping opening up lanes for guys to be able to get through. So I think getting some of these guys back is really going to help. And honestly, getting Justin help, like we said, with those right tackles, or with the right side of the offensive line, getting those guys back. He also asked a silly question. What do you think Herbert's nickname should be?
Well, he said he wants Herb or Herb, right? Or is it Herbert?
Yeah, Herb. Honestly, I kind of like Pat McAfee's nickname. He calls him Air Bear. I actually, he calls him Air Bear for some reason, and I really like that nickname for some reason. I know that Joey's called him Herbie before.
And I like Herbo better. I don't know why.
Herbo. I've heard that a couple of times.
I don't know.
I don't know for what reason. I just like Air Bear so, like, I don't know why Pat McAfee
It
calls
doesn't
him.
have to be something off his name, you know.
Yeah. He just calls him Air Bear, and I'm like, oh my god, that's actually a pretty cool nickname. Like, but Herb to me was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know.
How many quarterbacks have a nickname though? To be honest,
Mm,
it's not. I don't
well,
know.
Tampa Bay.
It's
Yeah, no, I don't know.
like necessary, but
You know
I
what?
guess
That's another question that I have. Why a nickname with Justin Herbert? I mean, we rarely get that with anybody.
yeah, man is new and you need something exciting.
Well,
But
because I mean, Philip Rivers. Well, you know what? It's something with the fan base, because I remember they called Philip Rivers Felipe Rios. They would call him Philly Riv. They call them, like, I remember Deion Sanders called him Philly Riv, and it must be like a Chargers thing, because a lot of Philip Rivers had nicknames and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, the Bolo and everything. So yeah, I guess it's if you're a Chargers quarterback, you're gonna get a nickname.
we'll,
Uh,
we'll find something. But
yeah, well, they'll find something.
that camping army has, we'll figure it out.
Can Justin Herbert, George Franco, can Justin Herbert also be our new kicker after the bye week? I promise I won't nickname him Money. Oh my god, I wish I would have. God, fans are really they're not on the Money Badger anymore, I guess.
Yeah, it just takes one missed field goal with the game on the line.
I know. Yeah, no, that's definitely something else. Oh, you know what? Going back to the penalties on special teams, Nikolai SD Chargers Ninja. Neighbors has been Gabe Neighbors, the fullback, has been awful with multiple special teams penalties and has missed or gotten blown up on half of his blocks. Any chance we see a change? In my opinion, guys, remember he was a tight end in college. He's learning how to be a fullback. The Chargers seem to like him, so I would just preach patience when it comes to a rookie quarterback like that.
Yeah, but I
Or
think
sorry, rookie fullback. Sorry, not quarterback.
that's one thing we haven't really asked Anthony Lynn or
Yeah.
Steichen.
Well, I think we should be getting George Stewart pretty soon. So I mean, it's a
Yeah,
question
that's
we could
special
ask him.
stuff. But if they feel like he's an issue, fullbacks, you could find one you could get him on the practice squad, put him in, like a Gabe, not Gabe Neighbors, Bobby Holly, the guy who's competing with in training camp, could be an option if it's not working out. But especially with fullback, you don't get too much time to prove yourself. So I wouldn't surprise me to kind of see a change. But it's early, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you're such a positive guy, Gil. That's why we're friends. Uh, Ryan Tarvers, with the injury plaguing the team early, and hopefully getting key offensive line pieces back, and Casey Hayward, how many wins can this team rattle off with a relatively easy few games coming up? Gil, the way I see this is the three, and the Chargers make everything more complicated than it is. The three toughest games that I see on their schedule are at Buffalo, New England coming here, and then at Kansas City. Those are the three toughest. Like, the other games to me are winnable games, and which, I mean, they could win any of those games. They could lose some of those games, yeah. But relatively, I mean, I think those are the three toughest games. I know that Las Vegas is going to be tough. The Las Vegas Raiders. I stopped myself on that one. Las Vegas. I think that will be a hard game just because it's a divisional game, but those games are winnable. It's just those other three games. Those games look tough to me. I don't know how you feel, but I think they could, if they really got hot, just like they did in 2017 when they started the season 0-4 and then finished 9-7. I think they could end up finishing 9-7, 8-8 if they really kind of caught fire a little bit and got Justin Herbert a couple of wins and got some guys back. Gilbert, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
You know what, the schedule being moved around, I kind of forgot it. Some of these things. Is a Denver game in Denver, or is that
So they go Jacksonville, they play Jacksonville, then they go at Denver,
okay?
and then they come back and I believe they play the Jets, and then they go to, or no, they come back and they play no, they come back and they play the Raiders, then they go to Miami, and then they come back and play the Jets, I believe.
Okay, put it this way: if you don't beat the Jaguars, I'm gonna fork you. You're done for the season. You're not gonna make it the playoffs. You gotta win that game after a bye week. You don't want to make it five weeks in a row. But if they win that Jaguars game, they'll be okay. It'll be 2-4. That Broncos game kind of worries me. It's in Denver. They're Drew
Drew
Lock
Lock practice today.
back. But you gotta win at least one of those divisional games: the Raiders or the
And
Broncos.
I
And
think Philip Lindsay will be back by that Charger Bronco game.
who knows what happened to Melvin Gordon by then?
Yeah.
But you gotta win one of those two. The divisional games have to, and then you gotta make it a must-win scenario with the Jets and the Dolphins. These are teams you should beat. You should have beaten the Carolina Panthers. I know the Panthers are playing better with Teddy Bridgewater, but that was a game without Christian McCaffrey. You should have won at home, so you can't lose one of those winnable games anymore. So Dolphins, Jets, Jaguar, they win those three games, and I'm back in on the playoff chances, and maybe
Yeah.
they could lose one between the Raiders and the Broncos.
And you know what, Gil? They haven't won a divisional game since 2000, since that Kansas City Chiefs game
Yeah, that's
where they
crazy.
got all crazy and they celebrated because they had beaten Kansas City. They haven't won a divisional game since then. That's where it starts, and that's where Anthony Lynn said it starts. They
And
need to
then
win those divisional games,
you're
and
in Denver, you feel good about yourself.
yeah, 100%. I mean, last year they were about to beat the Broncos. Broncos come back and beat them. Mike Williams gets that pass thrown, and then I think there was just crazy. I think that pass interference on Casey Hayward.
Yeah, that's
It was
it.
just craziness last year in Denver, but yeah, no, definitely. If you can win some of these games and kind of get on a hot streak, hey, the sky's the limit, especially with some of these guys coming back. Obviously, I don't think Drew Tranquil's coming back. I do not think that. Well, Derwin James definitely not coming back, but I don't think Drew Tranquil comes back. And those are the only guys that I really see. Well, and Mike Pouncey isn't coming back either. But some of these other guys, I mean, they could end up getting some of these reinforcements back and then getting Joey Bosa healthy, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and all these guys, kind of getting them healthy and ready for a little bit of a run.
But you gotta beat Jacksonville. I'm telling you
You
right now,
have to
man.
be
I don't
Jacksonville.
want to
And
hear
I
you
mean,
speak.
honestly, their record against Jacksonville is pretty good. So maybe history's on their side a
Get
little
that
bit.
one first.
Let's see. Anything? One last question, Gil. Are you good? You're doing
Yeah,
good?
I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
good for more.
Our good friend Beto Duran of at Duran Sports asks, "How many ties do you own?" Now, I don't know if this is for me or this is for you, but I'm looking at them right now. I own about 50 ties, different
You're
styles and everything.
definitely the tie guy. I have
Yeah,
like two, and I'm probably gonna make fun of myself here, but I don't really know how to tie a tie. That's why I don't really use it. And also, I don't
bro,
think they.
I'll bring one to Chargers Park and I'll teach you how to tie a tie.
It just makes me feel like it's a too old school. Like, I want to stay young and look hip and have. I
Dudes,
feel
are you calling Beto Duran old?
he's older than us. He's kind of old school now. And I see people my age don't really wear ties, so I think it's
Yeah.
okay. I really got to learn how to put on a tie.
You
And
know what's funny? I've always liked ties. I just love the look at, like, I love what it
skinny one,
brings to the, yeah. So I love the way what it
fat
brings.
one.
So I actually like the bigger ones a little bit more.
Really?
Because I'm
Okay,
a
you're old
bigger
school
guy.
too. You like Beto then?
Yeah. I love those kinds of tie. Dude, you know why I've always loved ties? Vince McMahon's tie game is on point. WWE chairman and CEO. I've just loved his tie game and I've always loved ties. Like, so anytime I go out or like if I go out to dinner, I go out to something like that, I'll wear a tie just because I like it and I feel very good with it.
Like what does Deion Sanders say? When you look good, you feel
You
good. You
play
play
good. Yeah, exactly. Another question from our buddy Beto. Who's been on TV?
Been a couple times. Yeah.
I've been on it a couple of times. I mean, I didn't get the privilege of getting invited by Beto to be on TV, so that's pretty cool. Gilbert, can you talk about that? I mean, had to run from the media from where we were doing interviews and stuff, and run it over to be on TV. And Jim Hill gave you a shout out, and
Yeah.
Beto was kind of clowning you about having not having a tie on and everything. So
I would allow it because it was kind of stalling because I was late for
yeah,
live, and also it wasn't my fault. Beto was told me a certain time, and it wasn't that time. I got pushed up, but I hustled down there. I got there fast. I almost missed the hit, but I got on there. I got made fun of by not wearing a tie, but I adjusted. Like, you know how Lynn wants you to do it on 2020. You got to adjust in this weird
there you
year.
go.
Did it, and I was on TV, and I made it
And you
work.
outshined Beto, so there you go. I mean, that was
I don't
another
know
plus.
that, but I'm putting it back on the show, so I'm gonna say some good things about him.
Oh,
Uh,
there you go.
so
Maybe
thank
that's why I don't. Maybe that's why I don't get invited because I don't say nice things about him. And
you.
this is the last question from him. Why isn't Fern? I'm sure he's talking about me in the All Stars. Why am I not in the All Stars? I mean, I don't
Man,
know if Beto Duran has ever had Deion Sanders compliment his hair. So I don't know. Am I really not the one in the All Stars, or is it Beto that's not really in the All
I don't
Stars?
know. It could be, yeah, it could be management. Who knows? He has a grudge against you, so you got to figure that
I
one
think
out.
he doesn't like that my hair is so like you said, it's young, it's nice, people like it, people compliment it, and his is kind of receding a little bit. It's not what it used to be. So
Randall, you're
maybe
not helping your cause, but I like your honesty and saying what's on your mind.
no, but honestly, Beto, thank you, and thank you to everybody for asking questions. I honestly, this has been a great experience. Thank you, Gilbert, for coming on. Anything else you want to say before we head out?
No, I guess I gotta keep talking about Justin Herbert. You know, Charger fans, if you're watching this, like Bruce Arians said, you got a great one. So enjoy that. And it could be a long season again, but enjoy Justin Herbert. I love watching him play. So
You
keep it
know
going.
what? And I forgot to ask you about that. The way everybody's been complimenting him is very positive. When you've had Sean Payton, Bruce Arians, Andy Reid, they've all complimented him so much. That's just very impressive. And honestly, it's very good for the kid's future just because of those very reasons. But yeah, no, Gilbert, thank you again. Thank you to everybody on Twitter for sending us questions. You'll catch us doing something like this again. I guarantee you guys. So
Enjoyed it.
for Gilbert Manzano, I'm Fernando Ramirez. Thank you for checking us out.